hear you. So why don't we pass it over to you? I've given you the intro. Let's talk use cases.
Sure. So I'm going to start off with something that recently a customer came to me with, and it was really, I mean, it's a simple theory, but a little bit more of a complex workflow. And their issue was, we have lead scoring set up, right? So you've got contacts, and based off of their behaviors and profile attributes, we say, okay, this person has 40 points, now they can talk to sales. But that wasn't enough for them. They wanted, they said, okay, so what if we're at a trade show and somebody comes walking up? I want to know, you know, is this Joe Blow with 40 points, or is this the CEO with 40 points that I'm talking to? And so what we ended up developing was kind of like a bi-dimensional lead scoring model, to where we can say, okay, if this person is a CEO and they've got blue hair and they like ice cream, then that's our target audience. And so that's who I really want to be talking to. And so what we did is we assigned letter grades to go in conjunction with behavior score. So that way when somebody comes up at a trade show or pops through as an alert, you can say, oh, okay, Jacob's an A and he's got 40 points. I really do want to talk to this guy. It's not some college kid poking around on my website looking at the bells and whistles. So it ended up being really helpful, and you can do it strictly in Act-On, or if you're using a CRM, you can also pop it over here and do something like this, to where in Salesforce I've got it set up to say, okay, here are all my A's. Here's by day how many points people are coming in with. So it really just gives you a higher level of people's interactions with what's going on in there. In Act-On, you can also set this up in kind of a funnel type view, which is really, I think, what all marketing kind of should think in, is think in a funnel. You know, where is it that you're targeting people? And so you can see this. I just set this up so it hasn't populated throughout, but you can see how many people you're starting with, and then where they're hitting as they're going down the funnel. So at this point, they're going to get sent over to sales. We can alert them in real time. Hey, Jacob's just done this. He's just visited your pricing page. He's filled out a form. You should call him right now. So that's kind of a little bit more of a, I don't know, unique use case with the bidimensional thing. However, I think it will become much more valid for everyone. So at the same time, what do you do with people while they're in these different stages? And the answer to that is, we can set up these automated workflows that say, all right, this person's done nothing. Let's stick them in here and start to kind of nurture them. All right, let's send them a message. Let's wait a week. If that's not working, let's send them. If they haven't opened it, then let's send it to them again. If they have, then let's get them to engage a little bit more. And then at the point when they do, it's smart enough to recognize that they've taken that action, and we can send a note directly to the salesperson again saying, hey, reach out and talk to this person. I can go over these scenarios over and over again, but if anybody also has any specific use cases or a challenge that they've run into in the past and not been able to accomplish, I challenge you back to test me with it, because it's really pretty. I love my job. It's cool being able to go in and help people become more efficient marketers and salespeople at the same note. So if there's something that anybody's been struggling with, I'm happy to address that.
And I'll jump in first before any participant and kind of ask you / challenge you. This whole entire thing of lead scoring, right? Applying a simple point value to behavior. Oftentimes a client may come to us with minuscule knowledge of, lead scoring, right? I mean, take me back to kind of the beginnings of what you and your team could go through with a client that comes to us with limited knowledge of lead scoring.
Sure. So lead scoring is I mean, it's a simple concept, but kind of unique to everybody's business as far as what matters, right? So what I'll do is I'll get on a phone call with somebody and say, okay, what's important to you guys? Tell me your sales cycle. Tell me what happens along the process, and what's the most important thing to you guys. So if somebody goes to your product page or your pricing page, it's probably more important than if they're just on your homepage. If somebody fills out a form, seems like an important task. Let's give them some points for that, and just kind of develop it per your business model. You can set up some kind of basic things like, okay, if you send somebody a message, I don't really want to give anybody points for sending them a message. They haven't done anything. What makes them qualified? But at the point that they click on a specific link in that message or take some kind of specific action that means something to your business, then I want to give them some points. And that's really all it is. It's just behaviors. It translates to points, but I think that it's much more important to think about scoring in as a behavior than it is in points. Points just gives you something to look at that says, okay, these people are behaving well. Let's address them. Does that answer that?
Yeah, it certainly does for me. Let me even take a further simpleton approach, right? I know in, kind of through the sales process, how I'm explaining the importance of lead scoring. But, as this is kind of a more advanced meeting for us and all those involved, this phase 3 boot camp thing, from your side, from the technical side, talk about the importance of lead scoring. Why is it an essential practice to business?
Because it's what qualifies your leads. So we need to have something that gauges when you should reach out to somebody. So it's not just this batch and blast, let's call everybody down the list and pray that we get somebody who's interested. It's really serving up on a platter for you the valuable leads to sales. And so if you don't have some kind of scoring or method to distinguish people between who's doing what, then what's the point? And it really allows you to come in and drill down. It also gives you talking points. So, we can score off of all sorts of different things. You can have just a general score, or we can have a score by campaign. Maybe your business sells 3 different products and somebody's got 100 points. What is it that you call and try to sell them at that point? So what we can do is say, okay, well, Jacob's got 100 points, but he got 70 of those points because he was really interested in Cheetos. So let's call him and sell him some more Cheetos. And it allows you to drill down into their record and see exactly what it is that they've done. You can look at a timeline. These are my records, so there's not a whole lot in here. But you can look at the timeline of exactly what they've done and kind of go down and see what your talking points are going to be on that phone call.
Good information. Jesse, I think we had a question that came in.
We do. It's from Kathy, and I just sent you a message, Kathy. If you want, since you have a couple of questions here, I can just go ahead and unmute you if you feel comfortable with that, and you can talk directly with Jacob and Brandon. If you want to let me know if that's okay. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute Kathy. Here you go. Kathy?
Can you hear me? I'm using my microphone and speakers, so I don't know if the audio quality is good.
Sounds great.
Loud and clear. Perfect.
Okay, great. My question is about lead scoring. In the case, the typical examples that come through in these webinars all the time are often the tech products, where there is a product page that describes the features and the unique capabilities of the product, and there's a pricing page where you have standard pricing. I'm sure you do custom pricing, but those are always the examples that are given. And I've always struggled with this because the company I work for, first of all, we offer services, and those services are highly customized depending on the needs of the particular client. We work in a pretty small niche market, and so I struggle with the idea of lead scoring because I'm not sure how I would even approach it in our case. And so I was wondering if you have any best practices to share, or does lead scoring even apply if if there's not so many gradations that you can easily tell by the degree of engagement with the company's website.
Yeah, you know what? If you don't mind, I'll chime in first with the elementary with my elementary contribution, and then we'll move it a little more to Jacob for quite possibly advanced, right? Is lead scoring important? I believe so. And to your point, yeah, I mean we talk about pricing pages or these pages that people view that are these big high hand raises, right? And we want to engage right when they're taking a look at how much it costs to do business with us. And the bottom line is this: we have a variety of clients that don't have pricing pages or pages that have the most kind of exclamation point style information that, hey, this is a must contact when a person's on this page. And so how do we proceed with these individuals, with these organizations? I think it comes down to this, at least applying point values to behavior is going to show us that a person is viewing, clicking, downloading, engaging, filling out, receiving, opening, clicking our stuff, right? Sometimes I think that it might even be easier if they don't, again, in my humble opinion, if they don't have these particular assets that are the exclamation point of got to pick up the phone and call in near real time. But if you take a step back and simply apply a simple point value to behavior and engagement, and then again, as those points bubble up, right, who's clicking and viewing and downloading the most? You're going to be able to, in turn, and again, sales pros will be able to, in turn, prioritize those individuals that at least need to be called ahead of the rest. That's my elementary contribution. More advanced, Jacob, what would you add to that? Jesse, are you still hearing me?
Sorry, I was muted there. I agree with you. I think that it at least gives you that initial bucket of people that are engaging and interacting with your content, that are at least opening the messaging that you're sending them. But it sounds like in your business it's probably more important to score off of profile attributes, right? So if somebody comes and they fill out a form that says, hey, I'm interested in this custom project, and it's one of your, pricier custom projects or something that's going to make you guys some money, let's give them some points. So if they come in here and they say, all right, I'm interested in project number 1, and they hit submit, that's going to instantly give them whatever point value you've assigned to them and send you an alert. So, I mean, you could also just set up an alert based off of the form submit. So they did it. Okay, let's alert you. But maybe they decide not to buy then, and a month goes by. You still have that in their activity, and you see what those points came from the first time in order to go back and kind of gauge where they're at. But again, I think it's just kind of, in general, scoring, whether you have a pricing page or not, you don't need to do it off a pricing page. And yeah, we do use that as an example just because it's an easy example to use. But whatever it is that's important to you, if they download a particular white paper, if they make a comment on an article that you have on your thing, whatever it is, we can score off of. So I think it's just analyzing what's important to you. And if that's not your pricing page, then let's figure out what it is and let's assign some kind of value to it.
Yeah, and then perfect, great piggyback. And I continue to educate myself, and obviously listening to you and continue working with you. The other piece is I get stuck in a trap of merely thinking about lead scoring as a sum of behavior, but what it truly is, to your point, when you talked about the ability to score profile attributes, is it's really, I mean, the value is, the lead score value becomes a sum of do I call this guy or gal ahead of this guy or gal, based on not only profile, which could be, is he C-level? Is he from Texas? In the city of Austin, because we're really bolstering and boosting our promotions in that particular area. From a manufacturing firm of a company size greater than 250 employees with revenue greater than, beautiful. I mean, being able to score profile attributes, I think, is equally as powerful as behavior. So.
Yeah, and using that score to then target them, right? So like if they did whatever is interesting. Hey, saw that you were checking out this particular article. Maybe you'd be interested in this too, and just kind of keep luring them and luring them in until you get them.
Kathy, did that help by chance? Just kind of clarify from both of us rambling on. Good stuff. You could chat in if you're not, if Mike is not enabled.
Unmuted.
There you go.
Yes, that was great. Thank you. I appreciate that answer.
Sure.
Thank you very much for the questions and commentary that continue to come in. We appreciate it. And you, Jacob, you touched on the ability to target individuals based on point values, and we went into the use case of, again, possibly targeting based on score. Do you ever come across the situation of, if they certainly engaging based on score, but then peeling back that score again and re-engaging based on, we sent them this email, they registered for this webinar, and after the webinar they downloaded this particular white paper, and they also viewed this particular product video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peeling back the score, opening up the behavior, and then dropping into automated workflows?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of what I was alluding to, just the, you can target whatever specific behavior it is that you want. So, I mean, it kind of relates again back to the bidimensional thing. So great that they have a score of 70 points now, but what I really want them to do is click this one specific button that's going to take them to this one specific place, or take this action so I can then call them. You can kind of direct them along that route. So say we send them this, and they then click on the call to action in it, then I can specify, all right, if they click on the call to action that I want them to, let's send an alert to the salesperson and tell them to do it. If not, then let's keep nudging them. Let's see if maybe this content's going to work. Let's keep pushing them down the line. And again, if you have a CRM, you can translate all those values back into your CRM and have it trigger different workflows. Or maybe your salesperson gets off a phone call and says, all right, this guy's just not ready. He can click a box, which will then alert us of that change, and we can stick them back into some kind of nurture track until they're ready to talk to them again, until they've taken whatever action it is that we want them to take. But again, those alerts can also be done directly in Acton, just using these automated programs.
Which brings up something I didn't think we would touch on, but it's kind of valuable to touch on it based on just the flow of this conversation, is the tightness that now exists between sales and marketing, right? Obvious, you've heard me say it a few times, we use the platform to market and sell the platform. We use Acton to market and sell Acton. And a suspect, prospect, lead, contact, however we continue to classify people that we're speaking with, they're either in one of two camps. They're either being marketed to in a variety of ways. It could be something as simple as a drip campaign where they get an email message, once every couple blue moons, whatever, or a more specific and concise lead nurturing sequence where we send them an email, and based on behavior and interaction with that particular message, they receive a more specific and relevant email, or triggers from website, or a combination of both. They're either being marketed to in one of these ways, or they're in the sales process. And I really do appreciate the control that I have as a sales professional to be able to turn that off and turn that on. Either you and I, as a prospective client of Acton, are marching down the pathway towards you subscribing to Acton, or I, like Jacob mentioned, click the box, and you are now could be a member of a program or a variety of programs. From the business side, we're probably not all that familiar with it, but we experience it near every day from the consumer aspect because, as again, point of review, the technology has been in existence, 13, 15 years. Good stuff. Anything
that
you would
control
add
really allows you.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just say that control really allows you to not piss people off. Really, I mean,
right.
The great thing about marketing automation is that you could say, all right, like let's let him cool off. Let's this guy clearly doesn't want to talk to me. Let's give him a month before you do anything else with him. Or he's engaging. Let's engage back with him. I don't know.
What has been your experience in the education of clients where they do have, as powerful as it is, they do have automated programs that could piss people off, right? I mean, do you talk them down from those specific trees and educate them in a different manner, or what's your plan of action there?
I mean, absolutely. I think that the average marketing professional has implemented maybe 2 marketing automated systems, and I do it every day. I've done it 1,000 times, and so it's usually pretty clear. And when I go in and say, whoa, hey, maybe we should take a different look at this, and we're not going to let you fail. And going back to what you said about the whole marketing sales alignment thing, I mean, I think that's one of the most often missed problems, marketing automation aside, just with marketing in general, is that having that alignment is really important. Marketing could be serving up leads all day long, and if they don't mean anything to sales, who cares? So having those conversations before you implement this and setting up things that are going to work for everybody and make everybody look good is really important.
Yeah, agree. Yet another personal anecdote. In years past, I've been in sales quite some time, and marketing would, send over via email or otherwise, a list of everybody that stopped by the booth at the trade show. And here's your leads. And, these are fresh leads. Begin your day, smile and dial down the list of your leads. And I look back on those days with fond, semi-frustrating memories. Because we would, attack that leads list, and, some of the conversations we would have with, hey, you stopped by the booth, any questions, comments, I'm here as a resource, how can I help you? Oh, let me tell you, you guys had the best squishy toy at the expo, and my 8-year-old just loves squishy toys, and I came by and I picked up the squishy toy and, dropped off my card there. We have no use at all for anything that you do, except for that squishy toy. Thank you very much. Perfect. Okay. I get it. Check them off the list. But now, if it's just one of those conversations in the span of a day, no problem. But if there's a handful of those, you could see how frustrating that can be. Now, what is it that we do? And, a good chunk of our clients, right? Clients are attending trade shows. They're attending events. Somebody drops a business card in the fishbowl, or they get the individual comes by and gets their badge scanned. That information is transposed to Excel, right? One of 2 things can happen. It can go into CRM, Acton mirrors CRM. We could market to that lead source, trade show, right? And when that individual's behavior score, that lead score that we're talking about, elevates to a certain point, then have sales engage. In so much as now, all my squishy toy people are not going to bubble up to the top simply because they came by the booth, dropped their business card, or had their badge scanned to pick up the squishy toy. And so I think about leads that we receive inside of Acton and in talking to some of our clients, right? Hey, Brandon, now we go to a trade show, we have those badge scans or those business cards from the fish bowls and transpose it to Excel. We market to it, compelling information. Thanks for stopping by. Take a look. Here's some more information, data sheets, sign up for a webinar, so on and so forth. Plenty of behavior and engagement, plenty of lead score, and then the alert. Brandon, time for a call. Wow.
Right.
Anything you'd add to that, Jacob?
No, I mean, I think that that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's just important to be giving people leads that matter, and you're not wasting your or your company or the client's time.
Got it. Take me through this. In so much as client comes to the table, says, you know what, we're all in on marketing automation, we're all in on automated workflows, so on and so forth. Our knowledge is limited. This is going to be, we're coming off of Constant Contact, or we've used MailChimp, but, now we're delving into the realm of marketing automation. Help us, right?
Sure.
And then just specifically with regard to automated workflows, what are the steps involved from your team's perspective?
I always start off with, and I think that other people would agree, that this whole thinking funnels mythology. So where it's just you go over their business process again. All right, so what's your sales cycle? Let's define these stages for you. What's a marketing qualified lead to you? Whether you call it a marketing qualified lead or not, whether you call it a sales lead or not, what are these different categories? And then go over how to nurture, how to alert, how to do all of those things down the way. Again, sometimes unique businesses have some different processes, but I mean it's all really the same process. It's just how you define your different terms. But there's definitely help here. I mean, when you start, you've got a customer success manager that will walk you through any kind of basic stuff and train you how to do stuff and all of that. And then we've also got, which is actually what I do, a professional services team, to where if we say, okay, these are all the things that you should be doing, and you say, great, but I don't have time to do all that. I don't have time to create content. I don't have time to do that, and we'll do that for you. Yeah, it's really pretty. It's a powerful tool, but it's simple and it's easy to use. I don't know.
What would be your advice? Again, as prospect facing as I am, which is kind of a double-edged sword for both you and I, right? You are instrumental after the client onboards and all of the education, and again, as your title denotes, all of the professional service that you and your team apply. What is your advice to people that organizations, marketeers, who are about to put their proverbial big toe into the swimming pool of marketing automation?
I think having a process defined, you'll find that I'm way more honest than I should be. But just having a process defined when you're coming into it. Here are the goals that I want to accomplish. We need to generate 10,000 more leads this year. Great, and then work backwards from there. How are we going to do that? So if we need to generate 10,000 more sales qualified leads, what do we need to do to get there? And have that process kind of defined. Because if you have that and you have the steps, you know what you want. You just don't know how to get there. And we can easily say, okay, great. This is how you do it. If you don't have that process, again, there are resources to help you develop that process. But my advice would be that if you're getting it, you still have to have a business model, a process. You have to have something behind it, because unfortunately the tool on its own won't analyze your business and tell you exactly what to do. I can do that for you, but knowing what your end goal is I think that sometimes people come in and they don't really know what they want. They're like, oh, automated marketing, that's great. We can send out emails to this, and so asking the whys. That's one of the things I do on every call I have. You know, if somebody says, okay, this is the process I'm going to do, and asking why they're doing that process, not because it's wrong, but just because I want to make sure that their why is, you know, in line with what they've set up. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling there, but.
No. I mean, you take me back to, you know, I served as strategic account manager for a period of time, which is, you know, I would say 50% sales guy, 50%, you know enough about the platform to be dangerous and can help you with, you know, a great many things. And I have immediate access to the smart kids in the class. It takes me back to those days where, you know, a client comes in is like, you know what, to your point, we need to generate, you know, 15K leads this quarter. All right, perfect. How are we going to get there? How do you, and you know, what are some pieces you have in place? Oh, well, we have email campaigns that we're doing through MailChimp, and then we have the website, and we have a variety of webinar series that we do, and some thought leadership via a blog, so on and so forth. And we've got all these things going, and now what? That is beautiful and perfect in so much as being able to consolidate that into one location and then automate a lot of that, so then you could have the time to focus more on extensive thought leadership, broaden your webinar series, you know, create other avenues on the site, focus on buyer pathways, you know, those types of things, versus somebody that comes in and says, we need to generate 15K leads, and man, we're starting from scratch. We kind of sort of know about email strategy, and the rest is question mark to us. And we have had a good chunk of those clients kind of in that, the ones I just described, and you know, the technical, I think, know-how probably then becomes the next, you know, positive / could be sticking point, right? Which, let me get your commentary on this, Jacob. The level of technological savvy that clients need to have, prospective clients need to have to navigate their way through something like this. What do you, I mean, you know, shoot from the hip on this.
Yeah, I don't think that as far as using the platform, can you use Word and Excel? I mean, it's not difficult. It's pretty easy. There are some initial setup things, it's like setting up some DKIM records and some kind of technical terms, a CNAME, this and that. But we have people to help you do that. If you don't have an IT team that knows how to do it, then we'll walk you through it. And there's no charges or anything with that. It's pretty easy. I mean,
got it. I want to be conscious of time. We're fast approaching 15 minutes, and then you know, I want to leave some time for overall Q&A. And I know we continue to have questions and comments come in, good stuff, and Jesse's the facilitator and handling most of that. Jesse, there is another individual on the call that was able to sneak in, and I want to, you know, pour out the thank yous for him to kind of sneak in at the last minute. You know, yet another, you know, wizard in the group of wizards that we have access to at Acton, and his name's Nathaniel Garcia. This guy, again, quick kudos before I turn him loose. You know, I've seen him take clients from, again, idea of we want to do this, and this, and take a particular user down a specific pathway given behavior, and he assists big time in you know, seeing it to fruition. And so, Jesse, do you see Nathaniel on the event there?
Yeah, go ahead, Nathaniel. I think I unmuted you.
Nathaniel, I want you to just briefly touch on maybe some workflow experience that you have and knowledge and know-how that you bring to the table.
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate that. Can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, you know, in my particular experience here at Acton, I've had a similar experience to Jacob. You know, worked as technical resources here internally helping customers, helping internal employees, work through the huge variance that there can be from customer to customer with how we want to use the platform. Well, what are the limitations and how can we stretch the platform to do the different things that we need to do? And then moving over into account management where, we're the dedicated individual who wants to, help our clients take that idea and actually make it a successful and executed plan using our particular software. And in my experience, I have a pretty big variance in the types of clients that I manage. I manage one of our longest standing customer bases, people who've been with us since all the way back to 2008, to customers who've been with us for about a year. And my customers range from the Fortune 500 way up top close to number one to down in what has been deemed by us, I guess you could say, as a Fortune 5 million, that small to medium business space. And, the challenges and the difficulties that face these companies are largely the same. It's a skill set challenge and it's a process challenge. We've got a really great product. We really believe in it 100%. We can sell the pants off of it, but we're not quite sure how are we going to market this product? How are we going to use the tools that exist out there to not only get the word out, but how are we going to do it in an intelligent way? This thing that's called marketing automation, how does that really help us? I think people who've never used cloud-based tools before to really automate processes, struggle a little bit to visualize what it looks like to actually have a complete marketing automation system working. How do my forms or my automated programs, as my lead scoring, my list maintenance, my segments, how do all of those things connect so that my plan of action, I really can see where people are at in the process? If I have 5 steps from point A when I first learn and meet an anonymous visitor who comes to our website all the way to the point where they're a customer, if there's 5 points through, how do I know where people are at? How do I take them on a journey and automate that process? And I think people who've never really done that type of automation before struggle in that way. I think Jacob's on point when he says that this tool isn't necessarily difficult to use. Where people really struggle is figuring out how do I connect all the dots. And I think where I've put an emphasis on what I do here is that I want to help people visualize that. So I've actually designed flowcharts to help people see what it looks like to take my master database, segment it, have automated methods to nurture and lead qualification to sort them, and then automated processes to get my sales team involved at just the right time, within minutes of people reaching that particular point, so that we can seize the moment and close more deals, so that we can be the first company to the table for this particular researcher's need, and make sure that we're closing more deals and we're doing it more effectively. So that's how I've tried to approach marketing automation, is give people visual cues that help them connect the dots for their vision and for their dream.
Good stuff. I'm going to ask you the exact same question, and you touched on it a little bit, right? Clients coming to the table, and you're in the position of, long term, right?
Yes.
They've been with us for a period of time, and then they eventually graduate over to you. That's what I'm understanding, correct?
Yes. Yep. You're right.
And even after that graduation process over to you as a long-term customer success manager, number one, skill set, level of expertise. What are you seeing?
Because of the diversity of the types of companies I work with, I'll say for the Fortune 500 companies, what I'm seeing in that particular space, you would expect that these companies have hired the best of the best people, that they've really got everything figured out. That's why they're Fortune 500. They're really successful. But largely, that's not the case at all. Fortune 500 companies are actually a lot more fragmented than the smaller to medium businesses, because they have so many more divisions, because they have so many more employees. There are a lot more duplicated skill sets. There are a lot more people to run things through than you would in a small to medium business space. And not only that, the reason they're in the Fortune 500 is because they've been successful for so long that marketing has evolved within the last 5 to 10 years, so much so they've still only very slowly, when I talk about that duplication of a process, that fragmentation, it's taking them a lot longer to catch up to the newer things that are happening. Why? Because they've done traditional marketing for such a long time, in person, events, trade shows, print marketing, ads, newspapers, magazines, and the people who are running those companies, the CEOs oftentimes, are a generation or two behind the people who are doing the work. And so the people who we need to convince that marketing automation and CRM database integrations and some of these other processes, that, you know, this is the way of the future. They've been doing what they've been doing for so long, and it's worked for them. Hey, we made it to the Fortune 500 space. It's really difficult to get everybody on board so that people can actually start really implementing things. Whereas when we move to the Fortune 5 million, I think the skill set difficulty is that we've got people doing marketing who are not marketers a lot of times. They're the successful engineers. They're the people who created the product. They're the ones who had that aha idea that's turned into a business, and they're trying to do everything. And so we've got people who are great leaders. We've got people who really have great thought leadership, very creative types. But the reality is that they've never had to take a product to market and do it themselves. They may have been involved with creative or engineering teams at other companies, but now that they've started their own business, it is a whole nother ball game. The idea of marketing automation and some of these other things, they're brand new concepts, and when you're dealing with people who are touching these things for the very, very first time, is a world of difference of experience compared to when we're dealing with that traditional, I've been doing marketing for 15 years, which has its own problems, because if marketing's changed more in the last 5 to 10 years than it has in the last 50, which is an article that Forbes put out like last year, that most marketers feel that the tides have changed more in the last 5 years than in the last 50, then some of those people are also sort of that generation past, so to speak, of trying to catch up or trying to believe in something new that they've never done before.
Got it. Interesting insight. Good information. We've got a ripe 9 minutes left of this presentation. I want to be conscious of time. As promised in this third phase of our marketing automation bootcamp, we wanted to be more advanced. Our goal was to present information more at a granular level versus, a lot of the more high-level, broad stroke, style, give you lots of percentages and statistics, et cetera. We wanted to get down into some of the stuff that we're actually doing under the big green and blue Act On umbrella. So I'm confident, or at least I hope, that we've accomplished that task. I brought in two of the brightest of the bright. They continue to shine and make us look good here at Act On. Their knowledge is paramount to our customer success and the success of our organization. If there are no overall questions that you're seeing, Jesse, if any of you on the call are interested in one-on-ones with us, one-on-ones with anybody on this call, diving deeper into the platform, we could get as granular as you need to. I mean, I'm definitely going to bring in one of the smarter kids in the class, no doubt, but we'd be happy to do that, show you more about Act On, obviously show you more connectivity into Sugar CRM, et cetera. So with that, Jesse, any closing commentary or question coming from the chat script there?
Doesn't look like it, Brandon. I think that just about covers it. I mean, it was really awesome being a part of this conversation today, and I hope everyone really benefited as much as I have. So I'll follow up with everybody on the call with, just reach out to you, see how you thought everything went, and that's it. Brandon, Nathaniel,
perfect.
Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate you joining us today. And
yeah, gentlemen, I enjoyed the last hour.
All right.
Take good care, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.